Okay, so I was watching Need Input's latest video, and he mentions, let's see if we can bring it up here.
Actually, the artist Pink in her name now has an exclamation point. So you know that's a Mandela effect.
So I just went to check out Pink, and right here it's regularly with the I, but she also has the pink right there. So I don't know when that started. That would be something new to me. I don't pay a lot of attention to her, but Pink forgets her own lyrics, and I'll just play what she says here about a certain movie.
It's from Key to My Heart.
From the Shazam soundtrack. From Shaquille O'Neal's movie.
Some people think she is a he, by the way, but she gets the name Shazam, but then she conflates it with Shaquille O'Neal, who did the Kazam movie. So it's mixed messages there, but it is interesting. I did find this one clip from newspapers. It has Shazam, another Wednesday opener, features that big guy Shaquille O'Neal. So, there wasn't anything else other than this one that had Shazam. Most of them were Kazam. What else did I find here? So that was, what year is that? 1996. He has a dog called Shazam. This is from 1993. The movie came out 1996. It looks like Kazam or Shazam. I'm not sure which, but he has a dog named Shazam. So that got me thinking about Captain Marvel, whose key word was Shazam. So if you we'll watch the clip here, which is full of a lot of occult messages. Has Solomon's temple, Egyptian gods, and the bolt of lightning, which is Satan. So we're dealing with these kinds of things. If you're a Christian, if you're not, whatever, these things are put into the cartoons as it's just completely satanic, the whole thing. And the word Shazam is something to be careful of. And I think this is why it's able to be messed with so easily. So we'll just play that.
This is Billy Batson, star reporter for station WIZZ-TV. He has been picked by the aged wizard Shazam.
And so right in the middle of the intro to Shazam, we see, right as the wizard says Shazam, the Earth as we used to know it, with South America right under North America. It's slightly to the side, but it's not as far over as it normally is. So it's pretty much right under. So I thought this was interesting. Another Mandela effect within this whole craziness of Shazam and Kazam.
Carry on the wizard's lifelong crusade against crime and the forces of evil. When Billy speaks the wizard's name, Shazam! Billy becomes Captain Marvel, mighty champion, combining the wisdom of Solomon, the strength of Hercules, the stamina of Atlas, the power of Zeus, the courage of Achilles, and the speed of Mercury. Billy's twin sister, Mary Batson, has also been granted special powers. When she speaks the name Shazam, Mary Batson becomes Mary Marvel, blending the grace of Selena with the best qualities of other goddesses, whose names combined form the word Shazam.
Okay, and another person who used to say Shazam was Jim Nabors. Now, his name has changed. Nabors. And I just about flipped on that one, because I remember Jim Nabors as in your neighbor next door. And just checking this out, But we get into newspapers. We have Jim Nabors, William Shatner, so that's the actor right there. Burt Reynolds, Jim Nabors. So this is Jim Nabors, Robert Goulet, Gomer Pyle, Andy Griffith's show, Jim Nabors. That was, the show he was on, the show he started on. Oh, I believe it's the Indianapolis Speedway. People, there's a song he sings, or they play of him singing there. So we have Jim Nabors, Pat Boone, all the other singers. This is NASCAR. So they're talking about Jim Nabors right here. Oops. Jim Nabors at NASCAR. Jim Nabors, Ron Howard, Andy Griffith, Don Knotts. Okay, more singers. More Dixie than Jim Nabors. Gomer Pyle, Jim Nabors. Indy 500. I guess back home in Indiana. So this is why they sing the song. The Indy 500. And of course, you find people elsewhere here. Soon we'll get to that. Where it's the definite Mandela effect. You will find it spelled both ways. More Jim Nabors here. Indy 500, Indianapolis. Let's see if we can find some other references other than newspapers. Jim Nabors, Gomer Pyle. Jim Nabors, and I think, yep, this is a military uniform. Jim Nabors, Gomer Pyle. Gotta hear Jim Nabors. Jim Nabors used to say back in the 1960s sitcom Gomer Pyle, surprise, surprise, surprise. Jim Nabors. Oh, okay, here we have Jim Nabors, Nabors, but then people are spelling it this way. Jim Nabors. Of course, down here, this is where it's Mandela effect-y. It's the double spelling, right within sight of each other. Jim Nabors. Okay, and another thing just keeps piling up here. As I'm going along, I'm looking at the comic book about Captain Marvel. I think it was originally Captain Marvel, and then it became Shazam. It's spelled in the second half of the name with one A, like Shazam, just one A. And I'm remembering, so there's a bunch of this. Wikipedia has Shazam Wizard from the comic book series, and Shazam one A, or instead of three A's, now there's just two in the name, and Captain Marvel. And it says Shazam right there. And so, going back to look, to see, we have, this is from 1973, Shazam, Captain Marvel, with a total of 3 A's. Again, this is like some sort of ad, for an apartment. I don't know what this is, some play. And then Shazam with 3 A's. 3 A's. Student collects comics. Shazam with 3 A's. It's Captain Marvel. And Shazam. Captain Marvel comic book. Shazam. 3 A's. Library of Congress talking about. And let me see if we can go further back in time. Shazam. 1971, 1965. Shazam. So the name itself has changed. Shazam. To it's now like this. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of strange that the name itself has changed. It used to be two A's, the official word. So there's that. Also, just to put a finer point on it, the artist who drew Captain Marvel, his name is C.C. Beck, and C.C. in numerology is 33, which is the highest degree in Freemasonry. So this guy was obviously a Freemason, considering this is all about gods, the old gods, and such. So after getting into all this, I think it's important to remember that with Shazam, it's a magical word, for occultists. So, well, hey, this guy has a dog, Shaq does, called Shazam in 1993. Thought that was interesting. But, Shazam, Solomon, Hercules, Atlas, Zeus, Achilles, Mercury. Mercury is a big Freemasonic one. The gods of the lodge. And they want to keep us busy as bees, hive mind. It's not good stuff these guys are into. And that's what, especially in the cartoon, you see them announcing all the gods. It's not about Jesus Christ, which is who we should be focused on. And I know a lot of people aren't Christians, but you don't have to be a Christian, quote unquote. You can follow Jesus, and you just have to read what he said and understand that. And there's the Old Testament and the New Testament. Look at the New Testament first, because that's what we're living with now. And then you go back and see how it's the fulfillment of the law. He wasn't changing the law, but he made it so that we could see much clearer. And it's something I've come to learn later in life. That wasn't something I was living before. Not at all. Just the opposite, in fact. So we need to keep this in mind as we look at these things that have this influence on us and, seem pretty crazy, and it's dealing with magic. So when you're dealing with that kind of stuff, you need to have the power of the Almighty behind you. All right. Thanks for watching.